Mr. President. Good morning again, Madam Witness. We talked before the break about COM. I would like to now ask you a few questions about some other 105, District 105 cadres and sector cadres. First of all, I would like to start with Takiv. You were asked a question about Takiv by the investigators of the co-investigating judge. Question 29. And in that answer to that question, you said that Takiv was arrested during the Khmer Rouge regime. Do you remember any details as to the reasons for Takiv's arrest?
No, I do not know the reason for his arrest.
Do you know if there's any relation between Takiv and the former leader of the West Zone, Chu Chet, alias C?
Please repeat your question.
Do you know whether there's any relation between Takiv and Chu Chet, also known as C, who used to be the former leader of the West Zone and before that of the Southwest Zone?
No, I do not know whether they had any relationship, as I did not know the person you mentioned.
Okay. Another cadre I would like to ask you a question about is a person named Im Cham. You were asked several questions about her, but there's one question that was asked to you that I would like to particularly talk to you about, and that is your answer to question 312. I will read both the question and your answer, Madam Witness. The question is as follows. A witness said, quote, Ye Bun was white, Im Cham was black, unquote. White and black meaning kind and unkind. Why did they make such a comparison? Can you describe what Im Cham was like? Your answer is, I cannot describe Im Cham because I did not actually know her. Some witnesses seek the facts personally, so it is not all correct because some people had conflict of interest. That's your answer. What I'm interested in, Madam Witness, is why there is a witness apparently who calls you white as opposed to black and kind as opposed to unkind. Do you know any reason for this?
President Witness Cambodia, please hold on, and the International Deputy Co-Prosecutor, you have the floor.
This is a question that leads the witness to speculate, so I wish to object to it.
Well, Mr. President, if the co-investigating judge or the investigators can ask this question, I certainly can ask this question as well, I would say. Plus, I'm not asking the witness to speculate. I'm just asking the witness if she can put this particular answer of a witness in perspective. That's what I'm doing, and I think I'm entitled to.
President witness, you may respond to that question if you recall the question itself. Witness. Yes. You just mentioned from the statements that I was white and Cham was black. I myself did not determine that I was white or that she was black. In fact, that statement was put to me by the investigator, and that investigator said people use that phrase. So for that reason, I cannot provide any further comment on this statement.
I understand. It's difficult to answer a question about yourself, but let me rephrase the question, Madam Witness. Were you, in the times that you were commune chief and later district person, a kind person to the people that you were leading?
Personally, I wanted everything good. However, I cannot say about the perception of other people. Personally, I believed I was good.
And if you say, personally, I believed I was good, how did that translate into your actions and your behavior between 75 and 79? What was it that you did, of which you now say that you were good?
Allow me to respond to that question. From 1975 to 1977, and of course I cannot recall every event, and currently I had poor vision and hard hearing. What I said that I considered myself a good person because I organize people into various units in my commune, namely men's unit, women's unit, children unit, and youth unit. And I myself went to talk to the people directly to resolve the issues with the people there and to provide them with food as I could afford it, including pork, beef, or chicken. And I had generosity and pitiness on my people, and that was my good deed to them.
Following up on your answer, Madam Witness, in your statement to the OCIJ in answer 141, you said the following, and I will quote you and then ask you a question. There was an election to select a good cooperative chairperson in the village to find a good person. After the villagers had agreed to select someone, I appointed that person to be a chairperson. I was authorized to remove bad or uncivilized cooperative chairpersons and make them become ordinary people again. The cooperative chairpersons were normally selected from the ordinary people. Now my question to you is, can you give us an example of a bad or uncivilized cooperative chairperson that you, in your duty, in your function, removed?
the chief of the cooperative had to be a good person, and if the person was bad or uncivilized or hid food from the people in the cooperative, I would consider that person bad, and I would remove that person and replaced by somebody else.
And do you remember any concrete example of somebody that you removed because of bad behavior? Any cadre that you removed because of bad behavior?
There were many, or there were several instances. However, I cannot recall them all.
I understand that it is difficult to remember a name, but do you remember a concrete action of a cadre that led you to the decision that this person should be removed because of bad behavior to the people?
I simply cannot recall it. I forget all about it.
Very well, Madam Witness. Now I would like to ask you questions about another District 105 cadre and ask you what you remember of him. And that's a person called Pak Chim. What is it today that you remember about him?
I know Pechim, but I do not recall any particular contact or dealings with him.
Do you remember anything about his political stance? Anything about his ideas and thoughts? And also actions in the Democratic Kampuchea time period?
No, I cannot recall it. I know him, and from his appearance, he was a humble person and not a mean one.
Was he a kind, or as opposed to black, white person like you?
I only recall that he was a humble person and not a mean one. Here I refer to the periods that I knew him.
I will get back to Pak Chim later, Madam Witness. Now I would like to ask you some questions about a person named Saum. You spoke also about him to the investigators, more specifically in question and answer 58 of your statement. And I will read that to you. The question is, at the time, who was Sector 13 Committee? And you answer, at the very beginning, Tamok and Uncle Saum were Sector 13 Committee. Uncle Saum might have been Sector 13 Secretary because he was always the speaker and decision maker during meetings. Do you recall having said that to the investigators?
Yes.
What else do you remember about Sam?
I don't have any particular recollection about him, as it happened quite a long time ago.
I understand. Madam Witness, I would like to read an excerpt to you from a document which is E3/1682, English ERN 00819074-5, French 00842928, French, and Khmer 00013961. It is a document which is a confession of Chuchet, probably given during his detention in S21. And I would like to read a specific passage to you.
President, the International Deputy Co-Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I could not find this document, nor on the list that was given to us last week among the documents that had to be presented to this witness, nor on the interface today. So I'm asking myself questions about the defense's desire to surprise the chamber as well as the parties. And on top of that, to quote an excerpt from Confessions. I don't know which excerpt is going to be quoted, but insofar that this is about what Chuchet allegedly said under torture, we cannot accept this. If the point is to quote what interrogators may have relayed or annotations, it's something else. But first of all, there's a question of principle. There is an obstacle, which is the principle of an adversarial hearing. This document was not communicated to us, so we are again facing a surprise, which is very unpleasant, especially in an adversarial proceeding that is supposed to be respectful of all parties. So I object to using this document.
Mr. President, the prosecution is right. I apologize. I thought it was on our interface list. May I suggest that I leave this question to after the lunch break in order for all parties to be able to study this document well. It has been discussed already last week and the week before, so I presume the prosecution is aware of the document. But something went wrong by not putting it on the interface. So I concede deferring, that's my suggestion, the question to after the break. But of course I would still like to ask the question.
President Judge Lavange, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Council Koppe, the Chamber first would like to get clarification about this and to be sure that we understand well what you want to do. Could you tell us if you intend to read out the content of Chuchet's confessions, the confessions he gave at S21, or do you only want to read out annotations that are on these confessions? And my second question is regards the relevance of this question, of this reading, given the fact that this morning you already put questions to the witness with respect to Chuchet and the existence of possible links between Chuchet and Tramkak district cadres, and the witness answered to you that she did not know anything about this.
Yes, I can answer both questions, Judge Lavergne. My intention was to read one specific passage from his confession or from his statement, and it's a part that is his description about the political stance or behavior of Saum, and where he says that Saum was a too oppressive person within the sector. That is the passage I would like to read to the witness.
Isn't this exactly the same topic that is discussed here? That is to say, regarding the issue, the question that you asked this morning to the witness. So my question, what is the relevance of this question? I think she already answered your question, in fact.
I would like to confront her with the statement of Chuchet that Saum was a very oppressive and radical person. And my question to her would be if she would agree with this, yes or no.
Écoutez,
well, listen, counsel, what is the relevance? She has said that she doesn't know and that she doesn't know any of the links at all or ties. Do you think she was in S21 and attended the interrogation of Chuchet?
I am not intending to ask her if she knows anything about the relation between Chuchet and Saum. I want to ask her something, what Chuchet apparently said while in S21, that Saum was an oppressive, radical, left-wing, cultural revolution kind of person. That's what I want to ask her.
President Council Copper, the Chamber would like to inform you that any questions based on the interview or record or statements as a result of torture will be prohibited in this chamber. And in fact, you sought clarification on this very matter from the chamber. And we will issue our written decision likely next week to all parties.
Yes, Mr. President, I'm looking very much forward to that decision, but allow me to at least remark that our investigation, preliminary investigation, shows that there is no even prima facie evidence that Chuchet was tortured. So I think we have the same situation as referred to by the prosecution yesterday, reading from a statement for which there is no prima facie evidence of any torture. So, having said that, I think I should be allowed to ask this very specific question to the witness about the behavior and political views of Saum. But I will move on to another topic, and that is, Madam Witness, this morning you spoke about him already briefly in relation to questions of Judge Lavergne about a man called Salvan, alias Saupok. This morning you testified that you did not recall clearly about him. I quote you. You said that he was in charge of the commune, but that you did not know his position. You also said that he was in charge at the same time as you were, and that you didn't know when his duties ended, and that you worked together for a long time. That is my understanding of your testimony this morning. I would now like to read you an excerpt from his statement to the investigating judge, and then would I like to ask you if this somehow refreshes your memory. Mr. President, I'm referring to document E127/7.1.8, Khmer, English ERN 00901568, Khmer 00893275, and French 00978647. The investigators are asking Salvan the following question. Prior to the Khmer Rouge era, 17 April 75, where did you live and what did you do? And Salvan, alias Saupok, answers as follows. Answer 1. Prior to 1975, I farmed paddies at Srekro village. I did not hold any administrative position. After the coup d'etat in 1970, I got married in Traping Tuk village, Cheng Tong commune, and later I moved to live with my wife in Trapang Tuk village. Because I was formerly a student, the Khmer Rouge Front assigned me to be the Trapang Tuk village chief in 1970. On January 1, 1971, I was assigned to work in the Re-Education Committee of Popel Commune in Tram Kak District. I would like to clarify that Chang Tong Commune, Tram Kak District, was liberated area during that time, and the Khmer Rouge assigned me to be the commune chief. After 17 April 75, I was assigned to be the Kampong Svei Commune Committee, Kien Svei District in Sector 25. The southwest zone. Madam Witness, having heard the answer of Salvan to this question from the investigating judge investigators, does it somehow refresh your memory about Salvan?
President, Madam Khambuen, please give your response to the question. Could you hear the question? Witness, yes, I could hear it. I recall that he was removed, but I do not recall when he was removed.
But is what I read to you accurate? Do you know that he in fact held these positions I just described to you?
ខ្ញុំអត់ច្បាស់
Answer. I could not get your question clearly. I had a difficult in hearing. So could you speak louder?
I read his answer to you, and in his answer, he described the various positions that he held. And my question to you is whether you know that it is accurate what Salvan said about his positions.
Answer. Yes, that is correct.
More specifically, he refers to his work at the Re-Education Committee of Popel. Do you remember or do you know whether your husband knew Salvan?
Witness. Yes, he knows. But for me, I do not know that he worked in the Popel commune.
And my last question, having read his background, does it somehow jog your memory? Do other things come back as to the person and policies of Salvan?
Witness. Yes, I know him. We used to work together, but I did not know that he went to work in the Popel commune.
Very well. What I would like to do now, Madam Witness, is reading to you a quite long, I must say, excerpt from the testimony of Pek Chim 1 week and a half ago. I will read it to you. It might take a minute or two. I will read slowly. I have given the interpreters the exact passages, so if everything goes well, they can read along. And what I would like to ask you is to listen to me for about 10 minutes, and then I will ask questions. Is that okay?
President, Madame Kambun, please give your response, please. Witness, I could not hear the question well. That is why I was silent.
I hadn't really asked you a question yet about the content, but I told you, Madam Witness, that I'm going to read a passage from Pek Chim's testimony, which will last about 10 minutes. Is that all right?
Answer, yeah, it is all right.
All right. Mr. President, for the parties, this is E1/292.1. That's his testimony on the 24th of April of this year. It starts at 9:37 and it ends at 10:04. I will select a few excerpts and then ask the reaction of the witness. By means of introduction, Madam Witness, I am putting before Mr. Pek Chim a statement of Salvan, and I'm asking Mr. Pekchim his reaction. And now I start reading. And I start reading as 9 o'clock 37 minutes and 50 seconds. So the question, Mr. Pekchim, to this cadre, which is Salvan, is as follows. Question 5. As the Kampong Svei commune chief, did you receive an order from the upper echelon to arrest people? End of quote. Answer. As part of the Kampong Svei commune committee, I did not wish to harm anyone who did something wrong. But the commune level had the right to report to the upper echelon. I had rights to report to the upper echelon. For example, when people did not have enough rice to eat, or when they produced only 2 tons of rice per hectare. With this regard, Grandfather Mok issued an order that the commune, district, and sector levels did not have the authority to make arrests or kill people. Question. What levels did the commune level have rights to report to? Answer. The commune level had rights to report to the district level, but in order to make a report about a person, the commune committee of 5-7 members had to hold a meeting to have an agreement before making the report to the district level. Question. Grandfather Mok said that the district and sector levels did not have the authority to kill people. Why were many people killed in the district and the sectors? Salvan, in his statement, answers, I did not know either about the implementation, but I recall Grandfather Mok's remarks clearly. Question. Was Grandfather Mok in the zone committee? Yes, he was, is the answer of Salvan. Madam Witness, and then I tell Mr. Pekchim that now the important part of Salvan's statement comes, and I quote again. When did Grandfather Mok make this announcement? Answer of Salvan. Grandfather Mok made this announcement prior to 1975, during a wrap-up meeting held annually in Forest, participated by the commune, district and provincial committee and the regiments. After 1975, there was another meeting in the provincial town of Takeo, in the presence of Grandfather Mok and Saum, who was in the Sector 13 committee, announced that soldiers with the ranks from second lieutenant to colonel were not to be harmed. Question again to Salvan. You meant that soldiers from the ranks of second lieutenant to colonel were not arrested? Answer. I did not know because implementation was varied from sector to sector. Now, these excerpts from Salvan are put by me to Mr. Pekchim, and Mr. Pekchim answers as follows. And that is shortly before 9:43. Mr. Pekchim, quote, I only attended the meeting after 1975, behind the party office, where Tamok also attended. And the meeting that was held in the forest, I did not attend. Maybe it could have been Com attending the meeting. It was hardly possible to convene the meeting of all members. My question to Pekchim. I understand, so I will focus on that second meeting in the provincial town of Takeo. This cadre talks about after 1975. And his answer, in Takeo it was after the liberation. In Takeo province the meeting was held after 1975. It was held in one of the houses along the river edge, north part of the provincial town. That was the learning session over there, and the sector committee and the district committee, including the military committee, attended. Question. Answer. The meeting held in Takeo took place after the meeting in Phnom Penh. Further down, 946. Question. But do you confirm the statement of this Southwest Zone cadre who told the investigators that Tamok announced that soldiers with the ranks from second lieutenant to colonel were not to be harmed? Do you confirm this Southwest Zone's cadre statement? And then Madam Witness Pak Chim answers, yes, that is correct. But I can confirm the statement that was the announcement at that time. My question to Pak Chim. Do you remember if any other cadres from District 105 were present at this meeting? More specifically, do you remember if Boon was present at this meeting as well? Pak Chim answers, yes, a little further down. Yes, that's correct, the woman. For that, Boon was present in the meeting in Takeo. And then Pak Chim goes on to answer, approximately 50 to 60 people. They were representatives from the military. From the base, there was no one representing the department because Tamok attended himself. And as for the military, they would convene, they would invite the commanders from the regiment or division to come. And they also extended the invitation to the district and commune, but to some communes only, not all of them. They were of similar rank, but there were different tasks designated to them. That's why certain communes attended and others did not. I think I will pause here because it's a long excerpt that I've been reading. My first question to you, Madam Witness, do you remember attending this meeting after the liberation in 1975 in Takeo provincial town, which both Salvan and Pak Chim attended, and that you apparently also attended? Do you remember this meeting?
Witness, it appears that I do not recall that I was in the meeting, and I also do not recall that second lieutenant and to the colonel were not mistreated.
There's a double negation in your answer. Can you repeat your answer, please?
Witness, I may not recall what you have just read.
So you're not recalling the meeting? Is that what you're saying?
Answer, I did not recall the meeting.
Could it be possible, I mean, you have, it's a long time ago, could it be possible that Pak Chim was right and that you did attend such a meeting in Takeo provincial town after 75?
Answer, I attended a meeting or meetings, but I do not recall that there was an announcement from Tamok regarding the soldiers.
But both Salvan and Pek Chim refer to a very specific meeting in Takeo provincial town. Let's start there. He's also describing a specific place of the meeting. Maybe you can try to remember. Probably the meeting took place in May, June, July 75. Do you remember such a meeting? Does it come to your memory if you think well?
Witness. I may have been at the meeting, but I did not recall what was discussed. President, you may proceed, co-prosecutor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was going to say that it is a repetitive question because the witness answered the question very clearly, but she answered the question before I raised my objection.
Let me read some more details from Pek Chim's statement. Maybe that will jog your memory, Madam Witness. Mr. President, same document. That is at 9:48. Question to Pek Chim, Madam Witness. Do you remember roughly how many people attended this meeting? Pek Chim's answer. Approximately 50 to 60 people. There were representatives from the military, from the base. There was no one representing the department because Tamok attended himself. And as for the military, they would convene, they would invite the commanders from the regiment or division to come. And they also extended the invitation to the district and commune, but to some communes only, not all of them. They were of a similar rank, but there were different tasks designated to them. That's why certain communes attended and others did not. And then I asked the question at 9:54. Excuse me. The question to Pek Chim, Madam Witness, whether he remembers anybody being present. He said, Pek Chim, and I quote, "I only recall that there was Tamok, Pen, Saum, and on that day Com did not attend. He had asked for leave to visit his family. And at the sector level it was sector 13, and I do not recall others. Meyersmoed was not there, but Ren was there. And Roon was there as well, but his alias was 05. Then my last question to Pek Chim in relation to the meeting, and I quote, that is at 9:56. You confirmed that it was Tamok who spoke, and it was Tamok who gave the instruction in relation to ranking officers. Did Saum himself also speak? Answer of Pek Chim, whenever Tamok spoke, Saum did not speak. Only when Tamok did not say anything, then he would explain. That was the rule and the working procedure. If the superior spoke, then the subordinate must not speak. So Saum did not speak at that meeting. I've given some more details from Pek Chim's statement in relation to that meeting. And again, my question, I realize it's a long time ago, Madam Witness. Does it somehow jog your memory?
Witness, I do not recall it.
Very well. Thank you, Madam Witness. I have some more minutes. I would like to ask you about some questions about minor offenses and serious offenses. You gave testimony, Madam Witness, to the investigators of the co-investigating judge, question 151 and 152. And these are questions about sexual offenses. The question is as follows. You specified two types of minor and serious crimes, and serious crimes included sexual rape. In terms of punishment, how were the victims and perpetrators punished? And you answer, the victim was not punished, only the rapist was punished. Question. When we talk about the term rape, that is the act of forcing someone by violence to have sexual intercourse. Did you mean this? Your answer, yes. In cases of a man raping a woman and the woman did not consent, the man was punished while the woman was not. Do you remember, Madam Witness, giving this answer to the investigators?
Yes, I gave such a statement to the investigator.
Do you recall whether in your commune, while you were chief, you ever sanctioned, or somebody was ever sanctioned for a sexual offense? Do you remember any concrete example?
Answer. There was no punishment happening in my commune, but there was such a rule or law in my commune.
Do you remember or do you know whether this rule was ever enforced against sexual perpetrators in other communes within the district?
Witness, I do not get the question. Could you repeat it?
I asked you for specific examples of people who were punished in your commune for sexual offenses. You said that you didn't know any examples. My question is, do you know any examples from other communes within District 105?
Witness, there may be instances where punishment was imposed. As for the punishment, in Popel, there was a rape case, and the rapist, his hair was shaved, and and to make to save his hair and have a cross mark on his head. And this man was walk around the commune.
Let me get back to your commune, Madam Witness. Yesterday we spoke about the family and the family of Mombun and Mias Koon. You might recall that. Do you remember Mombun, the husband of Mia Sarat?
Witness, yes, I know him.
Do you know anything, do you remember anything about allegations against him of raping a new person, a female new person named Korn in a place U2 Czech.
Witness, I forget it. I do not recall it.
Mr. President, I think this is a good moment to pause.
President, thank you very much, Counsel. It is now time for lunch break, and the court will take a break, a short break from now until 1:30. Madam Kumbuan, it is now the lunch break, so you can take a short break during this period, and the resumption of hearing your testimony will start from 1:30, and I instruct you and the duty counsel to be present at your place before that time. Security personnel are instructed to bring Mr. Kisampal to the waiting room downstairs and return him to the courtroom before 1:30 this afternoon. The court is now in recess.